So you know how in class there's that one kid, multiple kids actually, who said, I'm not going to use math later on in life. When am I ever going to use this? Including myself.
They said things like, I got an A. What did you get?
Yeah. Kim Cummings took the ball. Kim Cummings took the ball and ran with it. She said, I'm going to do this as a career and I'm going to defy the odds. And Kim, here you are. So thank you for being here.
Using all the math that you did so well with, all your
No.
career.
No.
Episode 9 of Behind the Star. We've done 9 of these things.
Nice.
Which is crazy.
Very
Yeah,
good.
welcome.
Thank
to the
you.
studio and to the podcast. We can talk all
you.
things money today, which is a lot more interesting than people think. It's not just paychecks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as exciting as, CID and SID.
They weren't that great. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
It's
all
fine.
right.
Yeah.
We had to
But
work
people
with them
do
a lot.
get
Yeah.
excited when they get their paycheck. So,
They
there's
do.
something twice a
It's
month.
automatic.
Best day of the month.
How many days till payday? Well,
Yeah.
that would be 2 days. We're looking forward to having you here because I want to show the world that you do a lot more than just, add up numbers or subtract numbers. You manage many different areas here. So tell the folks what all you're responsible for.
So budget, all things finance, with accounts payable and accounts receivable. Grants is a new one for us. We just had that added to us, which is great. Personnel and payroll and purchasing and central supply.
So whenever I need anything,
Yeah.
I got to go down and talk to your folks. You manage like from the front of the building all the way to the back.
Yeah.
And it's so important for many, many different reasons.
Mostly because I'm a tax-paying citizen. I want to know where my money goes. Where's my money go, Kim?
You're paying my salary.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're paying my salary.
I'm paying my own salary. Isn't that amazing?
We do appreciate each of us,
Yes.
putting into the pod, and we do appreciate, and understand people's desire to know,
Yes.
where's my taxpayer money going?
Yes.
You guys, they just see it as cost. But what are they getting for that cost? We're getting, a good service.
Yeah.
That is what Sheriff Ford is determined to do.
Yes.
And he works very well with you because of his background.
Yes.
Which is really kind of
So, yeah, he has a background in accounting. He has a degree
In accounting?
in accounting.
So he also said, I'm going to take the ball and run with this
He
numbers
is.
thing.
one of those.
I
Math
know.
came easy to them.
Yeah.
So it does make it really easy when talking to him about budget and different things with accounting. It makes it easy to bounce ideas
Yeah.
off of him and talk strategy about certain things. But, we have 568 employees. We're busy.
Wow.
We have a lot going on.
That makes us one of the largest employers
It does.
in Bay County.
It does. So, keeping up with the times with implementing a step plan a year ago, getting that rolling was
Explain
great.
that to folks who may not work in a field that has that.
A step plan. So basically, it's taken after the federal wage schedule, the way they do it, where you have step 1 through 16. It goes all the way up to 35 plus years of service, and so basically, you're taking what the competitive rates are for different positions, law enforcement, support staff, and you're setting a pay scale based on how many years they've been at the agency. Some get credit for years of experience. And so you're basing that pay scale on, their number of years here and experience.
Excellent.
And so,
but it's important to do that.
Yes.
Explain why it is important to offer a competitive wage. It's not just so we
wage.
pay more.
right.
There are reasons.
There are reasons. Retention is one of them because people will leave even, for just they pay more. Their benefits might be higher, but they pay more. Some people feel
Especially the young
Yeah,
people
they-
see that, and that's very attractive. And they see retirement as just like in the foggy future.
right.
What those of us who are more close to that see the importance of a good benefit
Yes.
package. But we want to attract the best
Yes.
and keep the
Yes.
best. And
Yes.
that means better service to the people of Bay County.
Yep. So we offer those competitive wages. We go out and we look at what other agencies are paying, what surrounding counties are paying, and what their benefit packages are. And we try to stay super competitive with them. We try to stay with the times. The government's raising minimum wage in the next year or so. So we've tried to get ahead of that. And by
Sure.
implementing the STEP plan, we're able to pay some of our support positions more than what the minimum wage is going to be. Just as an employer, your struggles aren't just the STEP plan, it's also with FRS, our contribution for retirement on the employer
that's
side.
huge.
The Florida retirement system.
We don't set those rates. That came from the governor's office. So it hit us last year at the last quarter of our fiscal year, where we were having to make some cuts in certain areas to accommodate that increase. It's great for the employees, but the employer has the hefty bill that they have to pay for.
The STEP program is a huge, pardon the pun, step in the right direction because this is fairly new. I mean, this STEP program we've had for about a year now, and we had nothing like this beforehand, which creates, in my opinion, more of a career path here at the sheriff's office rather than it being a stepping stone to another agency.
Right.
And I think a lot of people view it now as that because they see if I stay on for these many years, I'll make this much money and can do this and that. And to me, that's where we should be heading as far as keeping deputies.
And it helps the community because you have people that can go, it's going to grow. I'm going to keep working and learning and growing myself, and then my salary should grow. I can buy a home. I can buy a personal vehicle. You're helping the community grow then when you become tax-paying part of the community, which we all are, as well as the others. And so I think it's good for the community all over.
It's also good for the community in a sense that if you have a deputy that stays on for 30 plus years, they know those people in the community rather than you get a rookie every other year that just leaves and they don't have any ties to the community. Then you create the Captain Guilfords, the Smileys, you create these
old timers. I don't want to say old timers, but the long timers because they've been here a long time. They know the community. They know the history here, and they're able to serve probably a little bit better.
Yeah.
And the young ones hopefully are learning from them if we can keep them.
Yeah.
And there was a time in the past where they would train here to go work somewhere else.
Yes.
That was very attractive to them in the short term.
Yeah.
I make more money, but it costs more money to live there often in the central and the southern part of the state. But they were going. Now we're retaining more, which is really, really important for the agency.
Yeah, it is. It is. And, I think because of this community and how close-knit we are, I know Panama City is growing, but at the same time, we are still a small town compared to others. And I think that means a lot to citizens is having that familiar face patrolling their area, especially in our smaller locations like Mexico Beach, where they have those key deputies there that are patrolling and they see them and they know them and they know them by name.
Yes.
And they know when they're out of town, so they'll go by and check on, their house for them or whatever. So it's just a nice thing to have. This is the most personalized agency I've ever known of. We're very personable. We do have that heart for citizens of Bay County. So I think
and that
means
starts
a
at the
lot.
top.
It does.
Sheriff Ford is very, very much like that in helping people, not just going out and getting the bad guys.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, that's important, but it's also a helping hand, and we've done it in so many different ways. Now, we went over this really quick, but this is important, the grants.
Yes.
Because that's helping, that's bringing another, I don't want to say revenue stream, but a source of money to support the agency.
Yes, it helps with offset some of our operational, because when we talk about budget, we talk about some other factors that could play a role in taking away some of our budget dollars, like the increase in fuel costs that we had over a year ago, or the things that we had to put in place for when COVID hit and we were having to purchase masks and, our inmate medical costs went up and we're having to sanitize the facility. So those were some expensive things that happened along the way that when you're looking at a budget and kind of trying to figure out where to go with all of these increase in costs, thank goodness we have such a great working relationship with the county commissioners because, public safety is their number one priority and they've always been able to help us when needed. But when you're looking at grants, which the grants go before them, a lot of them do for them to approve, you're looking at bulletproof vests, you're looking at homeland security items, equipment items, you're looking at our victim advocate services that we have, our domestic violence services that we have. These are just important things, not only for our community, but it helps offset some of our operating expense.
There's also different funds that we dip into, like building this studio, for instance. I mean, it was not built off taxpayer money. which is great.
No, it wasn't. So we have, several different special revenue funds that we receive funding through just different sources collected at the county level. So we've been very fortunate to be able to do things with those. Also, we kind of work hand in hand with some of our investigative units because of the forfeitures that happen. So we're able to buy things through forfeitures. So it helps.
Got to use every bit that comes in. Now, when you say the word budget, we know, and I work, with the media, so I get a lot of questions about the budget process every year. You're going through that. Budget is like, it's a trigger word right now for a lot of people.
I'm freaking out right
now.
now.
So you're going through the process of the budget every year, which it's got to be tough. And then you have a budget where everyone else's budget has been hit by inflation. And we get hit by inflation as well. So explain, how do you manage? Do you just anticipate? Fuel's going to go up. This is going to go up. How do you
Are you a wizard?
Yeah.
Is what she's trying to ask?
I wish.
Is there a magic wand?
No. So when things like that happen, there's just certain things we have to do, whether it's put a freeze on hiring. Some of the less, every position we have is important, but there are some critical, and then there are some that we could probably wait another 6 months before we fill the position. So putting a hiring freeze on, limiting overtime, not buying as many supplies, or trying to get a better deal. I have a great purchasing person that she goes out and she gets bids on different bulk items. So I guess just, we shop around and then just try to get,
Sounds like what every family's having to do
Yeah.
too, really.
Yeah.
And so the cost of fuel going up, and the cost of uniforms, everything, just like with a regular family, their clothing costs go up. Their budget for food goes up, and fuel too.
And even vehicles. We have fleet that we have to purchase.
Have to have.
Especially when we add positions for the road, you have to purchase more fleet. Well, interest rates go up, and they're at an all-time high right now. So, looking at those types of things, it does impact your budget where you have to make certain changes or maybe just not fill a position here and there. Yes. And it does put more work on some of our support staff when we have to do that. But I've got a great team. I couldn't do my job without them. And so, they take on whatever I throw at them.
See, and that's the amazing thing is that with all these challenges that you face at times, people like Joe and Mary down the street, they don't realize because you have to manage it. You put a cap on it. You basically say, okay, we can't do this, but let's try this instead and kind of compensate for that. And to me, that's the tricky part. I mean, you might actually be a wizard because honestly, the problems that you guys face, and I don't see it.
Yeah,
nobody really sees it, which is amazing to me.
It's behind the scenes. I don't think people realize the importance.
Behind the star, if you will.
Behind the star, if you will. Definitely. And we're shining some light on today. Now, there's also a role of finance that people may not understand. When we have an incident management team, meaning there's been a disaster, natural, man-made, whatever, you're as much a part of the team as the guys and gals in the boots and go out in the field and actually, pull people out of buildings or whatever they're doing, whatever it is. The nature of the disaster, you come along to make sure, got to keep track of all this money, all the correct
document.
Yes, the forms have to be filled out in a certain way. We all learned that after Hurricane Michael.
Yes.
They want it done this way. They want this number form.
If it's not written down, it didn't happen.
So that's, that's pretty
that's
much.
what FEMA tells you pretty much.
Oh, yes. Do you make sure everybody learns the importance of documentation on the proper form.
Yes.
And then as you went through, Michael, became this expert in that process. And now Sheriff Ford has tasked you with helping others.
Yes. I've actually taught several classes on it already, but going and getting my finance section chief certification, which the state is sending me my certificate this month, so I'm very excited for that.
Sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got the final signature, so we're good. But I'll be one of just a couple in this area in the state of Florida. So I would be able to deploy to an EOC if needed. But, Sheriff Ford, his heart was to pay it forward when everyone came in to help us with Hurricane Michael. And so going and sending a group of employees to FEMA classes to learn about the logistics and resource management and finance part of it has been very helpful in helping other agencies. We've gone on Hurricane Ian deployment, Hurricane Ida before that in Louisiana. We were deployed Hurricane Idalia. So anytime there's something, our team is there ready to help. And so being part of the Florida Sheriff's Association Task Force, we're able to say, okay, here's the equipment we need. Here's how we were able to obtain that equipment. And then
because a disaster,
yes.
Again, there's that bad word, budget, blows your budget up.
It does. And again, back to our county commissioners, they really pulled us out of a bind with Hurricane Michael.
Yeah.
Couldn't have done it without them. So we were very thankful for that. But, putting an emergency financial plan in place and having those things, we've been able to do that along the way over the years. You kind of you live and learn, and everything's been a learning process. I learn something new every day. So
I think it's amazing that we live in a county where, because we've seen the news, we know, how much of a tough time law enforcement has in other areas of the country. But in here, in Bay County particular, very pro law enforcement, very pro getting, us the gear that we need, the funding that you need. And to me, that makes my head hurt because, again, numbers, I don't do them.
I don't do
numbers.
Hurts. Give me words. I'll handle words, but I don't.
But as a taxpayer, now I can sleep at night.
Yes.
So I'm going to go to bed now. So I'm very tired. It's been a long day.
Thank you for being here today,
Thank you
giving us some of your time.
Appreciate it.
We really do.